doctor.
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
There was a personality patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due date is the 10th.
It was the 10th.
I think her due date's the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors.
Thank you.
Everybody say how they treat people here.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
are you able to call the anesthesiologist?
Someone is coming to take you to labor and delivery.
That's not what I asked.
I cannot, no.
I just watched something that absolutely disgusted me. As a former ER nurse and a current labor and delivery nurse, I usually try to seek the best intent of a nurse. Not today. Not today. Because barring you having a medical emergency yourself, where your legs, your arms, and your voice no longer work, there is zero excuse for the blatant neglect that I just watched. And as a reminder, Black women are 3 times as likely to die in and around childbirth than their white counterpart. Part of that is because they are not believed about their pain. How you can sit there on the computer and act like you don't notice that this woman is actively birthing beside you is crazy town to me. Unacceptable, inexcusable. And if you've got coworkers who you watch do something like that, you are just as culpable.
Hey guys, I'm here with Mom and baby Cash. They are doing well. He has a doctor's appointment tomorrow at the pediatric center. It's a lot of concerns. They taking tests on him. He still have to go through several other tests down the line because he was born with his eyes open, and due to the stress and trauma that occurred in the triage area, the baby had a bowel movement in Mom, and the fluids was green, and like I said, he born with his eyes open. So they are, you know, taking all that in consideration as well. But he's eating well, sleeping well, looking good. And I was also reading a lot of the comments, and some of you under the impression it was twins. They are not twins. This is daughter with baby Cash, and this is other daughter with baby DJ. They are a month apart. DJ born 10/10 and KJ born 11/11. Thank you again for your support and your concerns, and we will most definitely keep you updated.
This is the most heartbreaking, emotional, sad, inhuman videos that I've watched. I can't imagine what this black woman went through as this white nurse was just seated there on the computer asking her questions that first she could have kept them aside and helped this black woman who had active labor pains to give birth. Yeah, so let's get to the rest of the video. First, let's hear the side of the story from the mother of this black woman, and then from there we can hear what Americans said about this. And I'll be right back with more commentary. See you shortly.
Hello, TikTok family. This is a follow-up on the video that I posted earlier. So I was at work. I had no idea of the activity that was going on. My daughter's texting me, calling me. I didn't know what was going on. So finally I get home, they tell me about the video, and a lot of you was asking about a follow-up and to explain the situation. So this is the situation. My daughter went into active labor at home. We took her to the hospital. She called ahead of time, so we know they are expecting us. However, we get there to the emergency room. We watching nurses, putting gloves on, running to the door. They get outside of the door, and I drive a black SUV, and they look at my vehicle, and one of the nurses come up to the window, and she goes, I'm sorry, this is for ambulance only. I said, well, my daughter is in active labor. And she was like, okay, she said, but you're going to have to go to the front. I'm like, I have to drive to the front. And they said, yeah, you have to drive to the front. Okay, another redhead. And so I'm like, so she's in the, you hear, and it was like, yeah, she started bagging up, hit the button, went back inside the building. So I go around to the front. I get out of the car. Again, this girl is in more pain now than she was when we first left the house. And she started saying, I feel pressure, I feel pressure. I said, take deep breaths. I ran in. I said, hey, my daughter's in the car. I went to emergency. They told me I had to come to the front. So the lady was like, what's your daughter's name? Told her Kiara Jones. She gets out some paperwork, start typing in the name. I was like, ma'am, do you have a wheelchair or anything? She's in the car. I need to get her in. Oh, if you check on the other side of those doors where the vending machine's at, there should be a wheelchair out there. There's no wheelchair out there. So she gets up, she walks in the back, and she come to the door with a wheelchair. She said, here you go, ma'am. I said, excuse me, you're not going to come with me? And she was like, no. Oh, okay. So, a police officer was in the lobby. He gets up. He grabbed a wheelchair. He goes out the door with me. He said, come on, I got you. Went out there. She is on hands and knees in the back of the vehicle. And I'm like, oh, shit, what is going on? And then she goes, it's in my ass. And I was like, what? And the guy was like, and she was like, he said, okay, she was like, give me a minute. She could not move. So when that contraction eased, we put her in a wheelchair. He said, you can go park your car, because they, again, had people out there. So I went park my car. It wasn't even 30 seconds. I run back in the building. She's just there with a stack of papers in her hand, screaming that this baby is coming. This baby is coming. I look at the registers behind the window, and they looking at me, and they was like, well, we can't do anything until she signed the papers. Are you fucking kidding me? So I grabbed the papers, and of course, it's all ER bullshit that they have. And I was like, you want her to sign this, and she's in active labor. And they was like, okay. I was like, ma'am, she was supposed to be induced earlier today at 8 o'clock. And they called and told her that they will call her because they didn't have beds. And they will let her know. And no one ever called back. They called back every hour on an hour. And it was like, no, we'll call you back. And then finally, her water break, she called them. They tell her to come in. So why is she signing these papers? We need her in labor and delivery. And it was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. So the charge nurse comes out. And she saw the paper signed. What fucking, are you serious right now? And she closes the door. And then the lady behind the window. At this point, my daughter, scribbled her name on all the papers. We gave it to her. She says, thank you. She walked it around to the charge nurse. She opened up the door. My daughter is literally like having a contraction. And she's just standing there in the door. So we push her into the door. I said, can we get her into labor and delivery? She said, no, we have to fill out all this paperwork. I have to do the paperwork and get her a band before we can send her upstairs. So that was the video that you guys saw that I initially posted. So the next video that has no picture on it was when I was pushing her in and we was at the window because they asked me to move her from the window so they can take care of the guests or, patients that was coming in and out. Do not go to this hospital. This hospital is ghetto as hell. They do not care about black women or their babies. This is crazy. I read about stuff like this all the time, but to see this firsthand, this lady did not care, none of them. It wasn't until we got into labor and delivery where we saw an ounce of care or sympathy for her. Before then, they can care less. She did not care if she gave birth in that wheelchair. That was not her problem or her concern.
LaCrista Vaughn is the name of the nurse who literally sat there and asked a woman who's actively in labor and having contractions, water has broken. You're sitting there in your fucking computer asking her these irrelevant questions. I just saw the most disgusting video. And when I tell y'all, that everybody needs to be sued. Everybody involved, the whole hospital, take everybody down. I just got off of the mom's account. The whole experience was horrible from start to finish. When they pull up, the nurses come outside to tell them to park in the front. Bitch, I'm in the back dying right now. I'm literally having contractions. I'll put the mom's app below and y'all can watch all the videos and get all the story. When I tell y'all that is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen, that lady could have died right there in that wheelchair and nobody cared. Nobody gave a fuck. And since the mom was under so much stress in that situation, clearly we're seeing it. You can hear in her screams how much pain she's in. The baby ended up coming out with his eyes open and he also pooped inside of the mom and it was a green fluid, and people in the comments were saying, well, this is what happens when a baby is in distress. And even in the follow-up video, you can just tell the mom and the son are both just so drained, tired, traumatized, exhausted. Nobody should have to go through that. I cannot believe I just saw that. And look, LaCrista Vaughn is the name of the redhead nurse in the video. This is the Dallas Regional Medical Hospital, and there's other videos going around of this same fucking nurse, and there's someone in a wheelchair just being flopped around like a fish out of water. And she's looking, no soul behind the eyes, and telling the person to stop recording. Bitch, there's bigger problems going on right now. The way some people will literally work in healthcare, work in the medical field, and just have no sort of empathy, no sort of emotion, no sort of human connection, that whole video, my heart is broken for that mom and the son and for the whole family. I would sue everybody. They need to lawyer up and sue. They need to be the owners of that fucking hospital by the end of all this. Because what the hell did I just watch?
This woman is in active labor, screaming for help. And the hospital staff is asking her paperwork questions instead of saving her and her baby. And her mother asked the question that Black families know all too well. Y'all treat all patients like this or just the Black ones? This isn't an isolated moment. This is America's maternal health crisis caught on camera. This video from a Mesquite, Texas hospital has exploded online. Over 26 million views because people can feel the neglect. That nurse's coldness, that delay in emergency care, that's not just bad bedside manner. It's a pattern, a deadly one. And Black women have been screaming about it long before this went viral. Let me show you what the headlines don't. The numbers behind this moment. In 2023, Black women made up 50.3 deaths per 100,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, huh? White women, 14.5. Hispanic, 12.4. Asian, 10.7. The gap is getting wider, not smaller. And it's not just about money or education. Black women, regardless of status, face more barriers and higher risk. Black mothers aren't dying because they're unhealthy. They're dying because they're unheard, dismissed, and left waiting. Doctors have been taught harmful myths, like Black skin is thicker or Black patients feel less pain. When you believe someone doesn't feel pain, you don't treat their emergency like an emergency. That's why over 70% of Black women under 50 report being dismissed or ignored during medical visits. Not by accident, by design. Every mother deserves urgent, compassionate care. Not a questionnaire, not a wait, not a debate. If this video made you angry, good. Now let it move you. Black mothers deserve better. Black babies deserve better. And this conversation can't die just because the algorithm moved on.
Fuck!
When's your due date?
Right now.
Is your due
The mother of the woman who was being consistently ignored by the white nurse in Texas, she just posted an update that mommy and baby are doing well, and I put the video in my caption. She said that it was clear that the baby was in distress because he actually had a bowel inside of the mother's womb, which is going to require further testing because that can cause problems that he would not have or potentially have had that nurse did what she was supposed to do, which was ensure that the mother got to labor and delivery immediately. I want Black folks to also be reminded that we celebrate these billionaires, these Black billionaires specifically, but we don't have any hospitals of our own. We don't have any facilities that as a Black person that we can walk into and indeed feel safe because we understand that it is for us by us. Every single Black billionaire that we know will get a liquor brand, a clothing brand, a perfume, a makeup line, a hair care line. No schools, and I'm not talking about charter schools that they done slap their name on. No chain of grocery stores, no healthcare facilities, pharmacies. Oh, and because Democrat and Republicans in Congress and the Senate are besties, millions of people are going to lose their healthcare, meaning millions of people are going to lose their lives. Because in one of the nations that's considered the wealthiest, folks don't care about the next person until it happens to them or someone they know.
That right there is why I'm a labor and delivery nurse. That right there is why I am a labor and delivery nurse. Disgusted is not even the word. Heartbroken, frustrated, pissed off. There are so many reasons why that is so disturbing. And I'm gonna try not to get emotional when I say this, but for me, it's because I see myself when I watch that video. I see my sisters. I see my niece one day. Hold on, y'all. I have to get it together because I'm about to go to work, so I can't be all puffy-eyed. This is why representation in healthcare matters. The system has failed women in general, but Black women have had it the worst. The system disregards our pain, invalidate our experiences, gaslight, and dismiss us. I cannot possibly tell you how sorry I am that your daughter went through that. Nurses like that have no business working with patients.
Any true midwife would have known that that baby was coming, okay? The woman was groaning, like, that means the baby's knocking on the door, okay? You've asked her the question, what baby number is this? Baby number 3. Do you know how many times as a midwife you can be asking them the questions whilst you're helping them bring down their trousers, whilst you're taking them to the delivery room? That woman was going to give birth. And the fact that the healthcare professional did not even look at her, you're speaking to a labouring woman and you haven't even turned around to even look at her, to even see all the signs, everything, every sign she gave, the fact that she can't sit down, she had to stand up, she had to turn around. Every sign gave that baby was coming. And even if that baby came 12 hours later, it doesn't matter. That's not how she should have been treated. So when we go on about Black maternal health, people think we'll keep going on. This is what we mean. And what you just saw isn't something that happens randomly. This one just happened to be filmed. That video disgusts me so much.
I don't know if you guys have seen this footage, but this is not okay. I am absolutely mortified after watching this. For many reasons. Let's just talk about the fact that I'm an ER nurse and we are supposed to take care of patients. I cannot imagine somebody walking into the emergency room that I'm working in and they are screaming, and we know they're in active labor, and we're just ignoring them essentially and asking them questions that we can get on the back end. We can get on this app and we can play and we can joke and we can do skits, but one thing I take extremely serious is patient care. And aside from that, let's talk about the fact that African American women are at high risk when giving birth, okay? A study from the CDC shows that for every 100,000 live births, there has been 50 fatalities in African American women, putting them at a 3 times higher chance of fatalities than Caucasian women. So for every 100,000 births, live births in Caucasian women, only 14 fatalities. Not saying, right, that this has to be about race, but it should put an emphasis on the lack of urgency on a patient who's at higher risk. My heart goes out to this mother. I am so sorry you experienced this, and I want you to know that all healthcare workers do not look like that. We actually don't claim that kind.
This video should piss off anybody that sees it, and then it just falls on what I talk about. If you are not passionate about being in the medical field and taking care of people, then you should not be in the medical field. This nurse lacked empathy, sympathy, everything that she needed to take care of this mother who literally was just about to give birth. The amount of pain that you're in right before you give birth to, those contractions, everything, it feels like your bones are breaking, and she's asking her questions. I have no words. It is truly disgusting, that video, seeing how she took care of her, the lack of urgency in the whole situation. And I hope this video gets the attention that it needs, that it deserves, because people like that should not be in the medical field. I'm so tired of it. I dealt with it all the time when I was going through my cancer treatment, and I've watched the lack of urgency with my sister who was having a seizure from the paramedics. It's just disgusting what's going on within our medical field, the way they want to get your insurance, they want to get all your information first, and then I'll take care of you.
This is a very emotional and sad video to watch. It's very sad to see how this black woman was treated simply because of her skin complexion, simply because she's a black woman. It's very sad to see how black women are not believed about their pain in the United States, especially when they are giving birth. And that's why the rate at which a black woman is likely to die while giving birth is 3 times that of a white woman. And that's why some of the women feel unsafe and are having out of hospital, births. It's very sad to see how black women are treated. It's very sad to see how black people are hated to an extent that someone can believe that a black person cannot have pain even at a point when they are giving birth. I even don't have much to say about this video. Please just let me know what are your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section. Stay safe. See you in the next episode.